Today, I own a marriage consulting practice that generates $420,000 annually. I counsel 75 couples per year at $5,600 per couple. I live in a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs that I bought with cash. I drive a Lexus SUV. My 2 daughters, Kennedy and Harper, attend private school. I vacation in Turks and Caicos twice a year. I'm dating a wonderful man, a pediatric surgeon who's kind, present, and emotionally available. My life is full, rich, peaceful, and blessed beyond measure. But 6 years ago? 6 years ago, I was a woman standing in church rehearsal, watching a stranger sing the Easter solo, and recognizing with devastating, soul-crushing certainty that the gold band on her left ring finger was mine. My wedding ring. The one that had disappeared 2 years earlier. The one my husband Julian swore had fallen down the bathroom sink drain. The one I'd mourned, cried over, and replaced. It was on her finger, at Easter choir rehearsal, while she sang "He Lives," while 50 people watched, while my world collapsed all over again. That moment, that horrifying, humiliating, clarifying moment, became the catalyst for everything that followed. For my divorce, for my transformation, for the business I would build, for the life I have now. Let me tell you how a wedding ring at Easter rehearsal became the foundation for a $500,000 business and complete personal resurrection. My name is Vanessa Reynolds. 6 years ago, I was 38 years old, an African-American woman born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'd been married to Julian Reynolds for 14 years. We had 2 daughters. Kennedy was 12 and Harper was 9. Beautiful girls, smart, talented, joyful. We were members of Resurrection Life Church, an 800-member congregation with contemporary worship, a strong Black community, and powerful preaching. The church had an excellent music ministry, which is important to this story because that's where everything fell apart. At Easter choir rehearsal, March 24, 2019, when I saw my wedding ring on another woman's finger, when I realized there had been 2 years of lies, when I understood the true depth of the betrayal, when everything I thought I knew shattered completely. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up and tell you how we got there. How a perfect marriage became a perfect disaster. How Easter rehearsal became the moment of exposure. How a wedding ring became evidence. How I went from devastated wife to thriving entrepreneur. How God used the worst moment of my life to launch the best chapter of my life. Let me tell you everything. Julian and I met 15 years ago in 2004. We were both working at the same banking corporation in downtown Charlotte. I was a loan officer and he was an investment analyst. We met at the company holiday party and connected immediately. We were both ambitious, both family-oriented, both committed to our faith. We both wanted marriage, children, and legacy. We started dating in January 2005. By June, we were engaged. We married in October 2005 in a beautiful ceremony at my childhood church. 300 guests celebrated with us. There was joy, laughter, dancing, and covenant. It was before God, before our community, before everyone we loved. We meant our vows, both of us, or so I thought, or so I believed, or so I trusted for many years. The first 8 years were good, really good. We were building a life together. Julian made partner at his investment firm, and I got promoted to senior loan officer. We bought a house in a good neighborhood with good schools, safe streets, and family-friendly atmosphere. We had Kennedy in 2007 and Harper in 2010. 2 daughters, 2 blessings, 2 miracles. Life was full, busy, and blessed. We were that couple, the one everyone admired, strong marriage, beautiful children, successful careers, active in church. We served in ministry, tithed faithfully, hosted Bible studies, and mentored younger couples. We were the model, the example, the standard, or so everyone thought, including me. Until year 12, 2017, when things shifted. March 2017, Julian started acting different. He was distant, preoccupied, less present, less engaged, less affectionate, less everything. I noticed, of course I noticed, but I understood. He was stressed. Work was demanding. Partnership meant pressure, long hours, difficult clients, and market volatility. I gave him grace, gave him space, gave him time. I figured it was just a season, a temporary phase that would pass. We'd reconnect. We always did. We were strong, we were solid, we were fine. Or so I thought. But things didn't improve. They got worse. By summer 2017, Julian was regularly distant. He was coming home late, working weekends, and there was less communication, less intimacy, less connection. I tried talking to him. He said everything was fine, just work stress, just temporary, just give him time. I tried romance, date nights, weekend getaways. Nothing worked. He was physically present, but emotionally absent. His body was there, but his soul was somewhere else. I didn't know where, and I didn't know why. I just knew something was very wrong. September 2017, I did something I'd never done before, something I wasn't proud of. But I was desperate. Desperate to save my marriage, desperate to understand what was happening, desperate to fix whatever was broken. I sought help. Not from our pastor. That would have been too embarrassing, too public, too visible in our church community. I sought private help from a private counselor, a Christian marriage specialist who came highly recommended by a friend. Her name was Simone Carter. She was 31 years old, a licensed marriage and family therapist who specialized in marriage restoration with a Christian approach and biblical framework. She was expensive, $200 per session, but I figured it was worth it if she could save my marriage. So I called, made an appointment, and went to see her. My first session was September 15th, 2017, on a Friday afternoon. Her office was beautiful, peaceful, warm lighting, comfortable furniture, Christian artwork on the walls with crosses and scripture verses. Everything felt safe, felt right, felt hopeful. Simone was lovely, warm, compassionate, and understanding. I poured out everything to her, Julian's distance, my fear, our disconnection, my desperation. She listened. She really listened, took notes, and asked thoughtful questions. Then she gave me hope. She said, "Vanessa, what you're describing is common. Very common. Year 12 or 13 of marriage, these are difficult years, the itch years. But they don't have to mean the ending. They can mean a deepening. With the right tools, the right approach, and the right commitment, marriages not only survive these years, but thrive after them. I can help you. We can work together to get Julian to open up and get your marriage back, stronger than before. I promise." I believed her. I needed to believe her. I wanted to believe her. So I committed to weekly sessions at $200 each. It was an investment in my marriage, in my family, in everything that mattered. For the next 6 months, from September 2017 through February 2018, I saw Simone every single week, every Friday afternoon for hour-long sessions. We talked about everything: communication strategies, intimacy rebuilding, emotional connection, spiritual alignment. She gave me tools, techniques, and scripts for how to approach Julian, how to draw him out, how to reconnect. Some things worked and some didn't. Julian remained distant, but Simone kept encouraging me. "It takes time," she'd say. "Trust the process. Keep trying. Don't give up. Marriages are saved by women who refuse to quit." So I didn't quit. I kept trying, kept hoping, kept believing, all while paying $200 every Friday, all while trusting Simone, all while thinking she was helping me. What I didn't know, what I couldn't know, was that she was the problem. She was the reason for Julian's distance. She was the one destroying my marriage. She was the other woman, the homewrecker, the destroyer, all disguised as my savior. But I didn't know that. Not yet. Not for another year. For now, I just kept trying, kept working, kept believing that things would get better. And something did happen. Something changed in February 2018. On Valentine's Day, Julian gave me a gift, a beautiful, expensive, thoughtful gift of diamond earrings. Along with them came a card that said, "To my wife, my partner, my forever, I know I've been distant. I know I've been difficult. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I love you. Always have, always will. Happy Valentine's Day. I cried tears of relief, tears of hope, tears of maybe we'll be okay. Maybe Simone was right. Maybe we were turning a corner. Maybe everything would be fine. March 2018, things were genuinely better. Not perfect, but better. Julian was more present, more engaged, more affectionate. We had date nights. We talked more, laughed more, reconnected physically. It felt like coming home, like emerging from a long, dark tunnel, like being able to breathe again. I was so grateful. I told Simone in our next session, and she was pleased. "See, I told you," she said. "Trust the process. Keep doing what you're doing. You're saving your marriage." I felt victorious, proud, strong, like I'd fought for my marriage and won. Then, in April 2018, my wedding ring went missing. I'd had that ring for 13 years, since our wedding day in October 2005. It was a gold band with an engraving inside that read, V+J Forever 10/15/05. Simple, classic, beautiful, meaningful. I wore it every single day for 13 years. I never took it off except to clean it or when I was cooking with raw meat. That's it. So when it disappeared on April 12th, 2018, I was absolutely devastated. I'd last seen it Wednesday night, April 11th. I took it off to shower, put it on the bathroom counter, and went to bed. When I woke up Thursday morning, April 12th, I went to put my ring on, and it wasn't there. I searched the bathroom, searched the bedroom, searched everywhere. Nothing. It was just gone, vanished, disappeared. I asked Julian if he'd seen it. He said no, he hadn't noticed, but he helped me search. We looked everywhere, under furniture, in drains, in the vacuum cleaner bag. Everywhere. Nothing. It was gone. Julian's theory was this. "Honey, I think it fell in the sink drain. When you were washing your hands or something, it probably slipped off and went down the drain. I'm so sorry. But we can replace it. Get you a new ring with the same engraving, the same everything. I promise," I cried. Not because of the money, we could afford a new ring, but because of the meaning. That ring was the original, from our actual wedding day. It was irreplaceable. But Julian was right. It was gone, and I had to accept it and move on. So we did. We went to the jeweler, ordered a replacement ring in the same style with the same engraving for $800, and I got it 2 weeks later. I wore it every day, but it wasn't the same. It would never be the same. Still, I wore it and tried to forget, tried to move on. What I didn't know was that the original ring hadn't fallen down any drain. Julian had taken it and given it to Simone, my marriage counselor, my supposed helper, my actual destroyer. She'd been wearing it for an entire year, just not publicly, not where I could see it. Not until Easter rehearsal in March 2019, when she forgot, when she got careless, when everything was finally exposed. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let me tell you what happened between April 2018 and March 2019. The year I thought we were healing, the year I thought we were rebuilding, the year I thought our marriage was saved. It was actually just a continuation of the betrayal. More lies, more deception, more destruction. All hidden, all careful, all calculated. Until it wasn't. In May 2018, I stopped seeing Simone. After 8 months of weekly sessions, $6,400 total, I felt we'd reached a good place. Our marriage was better, Julian was present, we were connected. I didn't think we needed counseling anymore. I thanked Simone and told her she'd saved my marriage. She smiled and said, "I'm so glad. I'm so proud of you. You fought for your marriage and you won. Remember that. If you ever need me, I'm here. But I think you'll be fine. You and Julian are strong. You'll make it." I believed her. I trusted her. I was grateful to her. I thought she was an angel, a blessing, an answer to my prayers. I didn't know she was a wolf in counselor's clothing, in Christian's disguise, in helper's mask. A destroyer from the very beginning. Every session, Every word, every tool she gave me, all of it was designed not to save my marriage, but to keep me busy, keep me trying, keep me distracted while she took my husband, while she wore my ring, while she destroyed everything. And I had paid her $200 a week to do it. It was unbelievable, devastating, and evil. But I didn't know. Not yet. Not for 10 more months. From June 2018 through February 2019, life was good. Marriage was good. Everything was good. Julian was present, engaged, and affectionate. We were intimate regularly, we talked daily, we laughed often. We parented together and served in church together. Everything felt normal, happy, blessed. Kennedy and Harper were thriving in school with their friends, in dance classes and piano lessons. We were a family, a whole family, an intact family, a happy family, a picture-perfect family. Or so it seemed, or so I thought, or so everyone believed, including me. But underneath it all, hidden and secret, the affair continued. With Simone, with my former counselor, with the woman I'd trusted, paid, and thanked. They kept meeting, kept talking, kept being together intimately. While I thought our marriage was healed, while I thought we were fine, while I thought everything was finally over. It wasn't. It was ongoing, current, and active. Just more careful, more hidden, more controlled, until March 2019, until Easter, until choir rehearsal, until the ring, until everything exploded. March 2019, Easter was approaching and Resurrection Life Church was preparing. Easter Sunday is the biggest day of the year for churches. Everyone comes, members, visitors, families, everyone. So the preparation is massive. Decorations, programs, music, everything. Our church has a strong music ministry with a large choir, talented musicians, and an excellent worship pastor. We always do a special Easter cantata, a professional-level production. Rehearsals start 6 weeks before Easter, every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. These are serious rehearsals with the full choir, orchestra, soloists, directors, everything. I'd been in the choir for 5 years. I loved singing, loved worship, loved the community. Julian didn't sing, it wasn't his gift, but he fully supported me. He'd stay home with the girls on Thursday evenings so I could rehearse. He was a good husband, a supportive husband, a sacrificial husband, or so I thought. Now I wonder, was he really being supportive or was he relieved? Relieved to have Thursday evenings free? Free to do what? To see whom? To be where? I don't know and I don't want to know. But I wonder. I'll always wonder. March 21st, 2019 was a Thursday evening, the week before Easter Sunday. It was our final dress rehearsal. Everyone was there. The full choir of 60 voices, the orchestra of 20 musicians, 5 featured soloists, directors, tech crew, everyone. The church sanctuary was set up beautifully with Easter lilies everywhere, purple drapes, and a wooden cross. The atmosphere was holy, reverent, anticipatory. We were preparing to celebrate the resurrection, to worship our risen Savior, to proclaim victory over death. It was powerful, beautiful, and sacred. Rehearsal started at 7 p.m. We ran through the entire cantata from start to finish, every song, every solo, every transition. I was in the alto section in the back row with a good view of everything. The stage, the soloists, the orchestra, everything. We sang, we worshipped, we prepared. Everything was normal, everything was usual, everything was fine. Until 8:15 p.m., until the featured solo, until He Lives. He Lives is a classic Easter hymn. It's beautiful, powerful, and declarative. I serve a risen Savior. He's in the world today. I know that He is living, whatever men may say. I see His hand of mercy, I hear His voice of cheer, and just the time I need Him, He's always near. He lives, He lives. Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives? He lives within my heart. Powerful lyrics, powerful melody, powerful truth. Our worship pastor had assigned this solo to a new soprano, a woman I didn't know. I hadn't seen her before and assumed she was a new member, new to the choir. She was obviously talented to get a featured solo, but she was new, unknown, anonymous to me. Until she walked to the front, until she took the microphone, until she started singing. Until I saw her hands, her left hand holding the microphone, and on her left ring finger was a gold band, simple and classic, exactly like mine. No, not like mine. It was mine. My original ring, the one that had disappeared, the one that Julian said fell down the drain, the one he said was gone forever. It was on her finger, at Easter rehearsal, while she sang "He Lives," while 60 choir members watched, while I sat there frozen, staring, and recognizing my ring on a stranger's finger at my church. It was impossible, but it was undeniable. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I just stared at her hand, at the ring, at the gold band catching the light. I couldn't see the engraving from where I sat, but I knew it was there. I knew it said V plus J forever 10-15-05. It was on her finger, on this woman's finger, on this stranger's finger. How? Why? When? What? Questions flooded my mind, but answers seemed impossible. But the truth was undeniable. That was my ring. I knew my ring. I'd worn that ring every single day for 13 years. I knew every scratch, every mark, every tiny detail. That was mine, on her finger, at choir rehearsal. Everything else, her singing, the song, the rehearsal, everything, just faded away and disappeared. It became irrelevant. The only thing that mattered, the only thing I could see, the only thing I could process was my ring on her finger. It meant she had my ring. It meant Julian had given her my ring. It meant she and Julian were together, connected, involved intimately. For how long? Since when? How? Why? Everything crashed. Everything shattered. Everything ended right there in row 5 of the alto section at Easter choir rehearsal, while she sang "He Lives," wearing my wedding ring. The song ended and everyone applauded. The worship pastor praised her. Beautiful, Simone, absolutely beautiful, perfect for Easter Sunday. Simone, Simone. My brain screamed, Simone, my marriage counselor Simone? It couldn't be. It had to be a different person. It was a common name, just a coincidence. But I looked. I really looked at her face, at her features, at everything. And yes, it was her. Simone Carter, my former marriage counselor, standing on the stage at my church, singing the Easter solo, wearing my wedding ring. The woman I'd paid $6,400 to save my marriage was wearing my wedding ring at my church, in front of me, in front of everyone. And my husband had given her my ring. He'd told me it fell down the drain. He'd bought me a replacement. All lies, all deception, all betrayal. For what? For her? For an affair? For how long? Since when? The questions multiplied, and the answers terrified me, but the truth was undeniable. Simone Carter, my marriage counselor, was connected to Julian intimately, seriously, wedding ring seriously. And I had been completely, absolutely, devastatingly blind. The rehearsal continued with other songs, other solos, other everything. I was physically present but mentally absent, just replaying everything in my head. Every session with Simone, every word, every tool, every encouragement, all of it in a new light, a dark light, a twisted light. She wasn't helping, she was hunting. She wasn't saving, she was stealing. She wasn't a counselor, she was a criminal. And Julian, my husband, had given her my ring, my wedding ring, the symbol of our covenant, of our marriage, of everything. He'd given it to her, to his affair partner, to the homewrecker, while telling me it fell down the drain, while buying me a replacement, while pretending, while lying, while destroying everything. Rehearsal ended at 9 p.m. Everyone was gathering their belongings, chatting, laughing, planning, the normal post-rehearsal fellowship. I moved automatically, mechanically. I grabbed my things, my purse, my Bible, my water bottle. I started toward the exit, but then I stopped. I turned and looked at Simone. She was talking to the worship pastor, smiling, laughing, animated. She was beautiful, talented, confident, and guilty. So guilty. She had to know. She had to recognize me. She had to see me. We'd met weekly for 8 months, face to face, in hour-long sessions. She knew me, knew my voice, knew my face, knew my pain, knew everything. And yet she came to my church, took the solo, wore my ring, and faced me, faced the choir, faced everyone. Brazenly, boldly, shamelessly. I walked toward her with a direct path, purposeful and determined. I reached her just as the worship pastor walked away. Perfect timing, divine timing. We were alone, facing each other. She saw me, and recognition flickered across her face, followed quickly by panic. Brief panic, quickly masked, but visible. She knew. She knew I'd recognized her. She knew everything was about to collapse. But she smiled anyway, or tried to. It was a weak smile, a nervous smile, a guilty smile. She said, "Hi, I'm Simone. Are you in the choir? I don't think we've met yet. I'm new here, just started attending last month. I love this church. Everyone's so welcoming." It was her voice. The same voice from our counseling sessions, from Friday afternoons, from "Let me help save your marriage" conversations. The same voice, now lying, pretending, performing. I looked at her directly and steadily. Then I looked at her hand. Her left hand, at the ring, my ring. Then I looked back at her and said quietly, calmly, coldly, "We've met, Simone. Many times. You were my marriage counselor from September 2017 through May 2018. Every Friday afternoon. $200 per session, 8 months, 32 sessions, $6,400 total. You helped me save my marriage, remember?" Her face changed completely. The color drained. Her eyes widened. Her smile disappeared. The panic returned, undisguised this time. She stammered, I'm not sure what you—" I cut her off. "Your office, downtown, 4th floor, peaceful decor, Christian artwork, scripture on the walls. You specialized in marriage restoration, Christian approach, biblical framework. You told me I could save my marriage, told me to trust the process, told me not to give up, told me Julian and I would be fine. Remember now?" She couldn't speak. She just stared at me, trapped, caught, exposed. I continued. "That ring on your finger. Where did you get it?" She looked down at her hand, at the ring, as if just noticing it for the first time, as if forgetting it was even there. She whispered, It was a gift. From a friend." I laughed. It was a harsh laugh, a bitter laugh, a knowing laugh. "A friend, Julian, my husband, right? He gave you that ring. My ring, my original wedding ring, the one that disappeared in April 2018, the one he said fell down the sink drain, the one he bought me a replacement for. He gave it to you, didn't he? That ring has an engraving inside. V+J forever 10/15/05. Vanessa and Julian. Our wedding date, my ring, on your finger, given to you by my husband, while I was paying you to save my marriage, while you were sleeping with him, while you were destroying my marriage. All of it, the counseling, the sessions, the tools, the encouragement, all of it was a performance, a lie, a strategy. To keep me busy, keep me trying, keep me distracted while you took my husband, while you wore my ring, while you destroyed everything, and I paid you $6,400 to betray me. Unbelievable." Simone was crying now, quietly, desperately, guiltily. "I'm so sorry. I never meant. It wasn't supposed. We didn't plan. It just happened. Julian came to me for counseling, for an individual session before you did. July 2017. He said his marriage was struggling and asked for help. We met, we talked, we connected. We didn't mean to, we didn't plan to, we just did. And then you came in September asking for help for the same marriage, and I should have refused. I should have referred you elsewhere. I should have told you there was a conflict of interest. It was unethical, it was wrong, it was everything terrible. But I didn't. I took you on. I took your money. I pretended to help you while seeing him, while being with him, while destroying you. I'm so sorry, so deeply sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I never wanted this. I just fell in love with your husband, and I couldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. Even though it was wrong, even though it was unethical, even though it was devastating to you. I'm sorry. I felt nothing. No anger, no rage, no pain, just clarity, cold clarity, complete clarity. Everything made sense now. Everything clicked into place. Julian's distance had started in July 2017, right when he started seeing Simone for individual counseling, which became an affair. Then I came in September for marriage counseling. She took me on and took my money while continuing the affair with my husband for 8 months, from September through May. Then I stopped the sessions because I thought our marriage was healed. But the affair continued for another 10 months, from May 2018 through March 2019. Total? 20 months, almost 2 years. An affair with my counselor while I paid her, while I trusted her, while I thought she was helping me. 20 months. My ring had been on her finger since April 2018, almost a year. She'd been wearing it, just not publicly, not where I could see it. Until tonight. Until rehearsal. Until she got careless. Until God exposed everything. I said my final words before walking away forever. Simone, you can keep the ring. I don't want it back. I wouldn't wear it even if you gave it to me. It's tainted, cursed, destroyed, just like my marriage, just like Julian, just like you. Keep it. Wear it. Enjoy it. But know this, that ring was a symbol of covenant, of commitment, of forever. Julian and I made vows before God, before witnesses, before everyone, forever vows, and he broke them for you. And you helped him, encouraged him, enabled him, all while pretending to help me, while taking my money, while destroying my family. That's not counseling. That's not ministry. That's not Christianity. That's betrayal. Pure, calculated, evil betrayal. And God sees everything. You can fool people. You can fool me. You can fool the church, but you can't fool God. He sees, he knows, and he will judge. That's not my job. That's not my place. That's not my concern. My job is to leave, to divorce, to rebuild, to protect my daughters, to survive, to thrive. That's what I'll do. You and Julian? You'll answer to God, eventually, inevitably, completely. Good luck with that. You'll need it. I walked away. Out of the sanctuary, out of the church, to the parking lot, to my car. I drove home crying. Finally crying. But they weren't tears of devastation. They were tears of clarity, tears of freedom, tears of relief. Now I knew. Finally I knew. Completely I knew. Why our marriage had struggled. Why Julian had been distant. Why nothing I tried had worked. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my failure. It wasn't my inadequacy. It was an affair, a hidden affair with my counselor for 20 months, while I tried, while I paid, while I believed. All lies, all deception, all betrayal. But now I knew. Now I could act. Now I could leave. Now I could protect myself, protect my daughters, protect my future, protect everything. Finally. I arrived home at 9:45 p.m. Julian was there. The girls were asleep. He was in the living room watching TV, looking casual, relaxed, and completely unsuspecting. It was just a normal Thursday evening, wife at rehearsal, husband at home. Everything fine. Except everything was about to explode. I walked in and stood in front of the TV, blocking the screen. He looked up and smiled. "Hey, honey, how was rehearsal?" I stared at him. This man I'd loved for 15 years. This man I'd been married to for 14 years. This man I'd built a life with, had children with, created everything with. This man who had betrayed me for 20 months, with my counselor, with the woman I'd paid, with the destroyer disguised as a helper. This man who had given my ring to her, who had lied about everything, who had destroyed everything. I stared at him and said calmly, coldly, finally, "Simone Carter is in our church choir. She sang a solo tonight at Easter rehearsal. He lives. Beautiful voice, talented, gifted, and she was wearing my wedding ring, my original ring, the one that fell down the drain. Remember? April 2018. You said it was gone. You bought me a replacement, but it wasn't gone, was it? You gave it to her, to Simone, to my marriage counselor, to the woman I paid $6,400 to save our marriage, while you were sleeping with her. For how long, Julian? How long?" His face went completely white. He froze, caught, exposed, devastated. He tried to speak and failed. He tried again. "Vanessa, I can explain." I held up my hand. "No, no explanations, no excuses, no lies. Just answer. How long?" He dropped his head. He couldn't meet my eyes. He whispered, "July 2017 through now. 20 months. Almost 2 years. I'm sorry. So sorry. I never meant. I didn't plan. It just happened." I interrupted him. "Just happened. For 20 months. Just happened to give her my wedding ring. Just happened to lie about the drain. Just happened to let me pay her while she destroyed us. Just happened to betray me, our daughters, our marriage, our covenant, our everything. Just happened. For 20 months. 20 months, Julian." He was crying now, really crying, shoulders shaking, hands covering his face. I know. It's inexcusable, unforgivable, devastating. I destroyed everything. I know. I'm so sorry. I was weak, confused, stupid. She understood me. She listened to me. She made me feel seen. When you and I were struggling, she was there. And it started, and it continued, and I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop. Even when you came to her for counseling, even when you paid her, I didn't stop. I should have. I could have. I didn't. I kept going. While you tried, while you believed, while you fought for us, I was fighting against us, for her, for the affair, for destruction. I'm a monster. I know. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve our daughters. I don't deserve anything. I'm sorry. So deeply sorry. Please, please forgive me. Please give me a chance. Please don't leave. Please, I'll end it. Right now, tonight. I'll never see her again. Never contact her. Never anything. Just us. I promise. Please. I looked at him, this broken man, this betrayer, this liar, and I felt nothing. No love, no hate, no anger, no pain. Just done. Completely done. I said, "Julian, I want a divorce. Not a separation, not a trial, not counseling. A divorce. Final. Complete. Irreversible. You'll move out tomorrow. Get a lawyer, I'll get a lawyer. We'll divide everything fairly. The house, savings, retirement, everything. Custody will be joint legal, with primary physical custody with me. You'll see the girls regularly. Weekends, holidays, everything. Be a good father. They need you. They still need you even though you destroyed our marriage. They need their father. So you'll be their father, not my husband. Never my husband again. To me, that's over, done, finished. Because of 20 months, because of Simone, because of my ring on her finger at my church during Easter rehearsal. Everything is over. Understood?" Julian nodded, broken, destroyed, defeated. "Understood. I'll leave tomorrow. Get an apartment. Get a lawyer. Do everything right. For once. I'm so sorry, Vanessa. So sorry for everything." I walked away, upstairs to the bedroom. Our bedroom. It was the last night in our bedroom as a married couple. Tomorrow, everything would change, would end, would begin again. Differently, separately, finally. The next morning, Friday, March 22nd, Julian packed his clothes, toiletries, and essentials. He moved to a hotel temporarily until he could find an apartment. We told the girls an age-appropriate version of the truth. Mommy and Daddy need some space, we're having some problems, we're working on them, but we need to be apart. Daddy loves you, Mommy loves you, and nothing changes that. But we'll be living separately for now. Kennedy cried, and Harper was confused, but we assured them, loved them, supported them, and protected them as best we could through the devastation. I filed for divorce that week. I got a lawyer, a top attorney who was a women's advocate, aggressive, thorough, and excellent. Julian got a lawyer too, a corporate attorney from his firm. We negotiated everything: custody, finances, property, support. It was clean, fair, and fast. We both wanted it over quickly, with minimal drama for the sake of the girls and for everyone involved. The divorce was finalized 6 months later in September 2019. Our 14-year marriage was over, ended, finished. Because of an affair, because of my counselor, because of a wedding ring at Easter rehearsal. Everything collapsed. Finally. But that wasn't the end of my story. That was the beginning. The beginning of transformation. The beginning of victory. The beginning of an empire built from ashes, from betrayal, from devastation. Let me tell you how I went from destroyed wife to thriving entrepreneur in 6 years. Let me tell you about resurrection, real resurrection, after Easter, after rehearsal, after the ring, after everything. April 2019, 1 month after the discovery, I was still processing, still healing, still surviving day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. I was in therapy with an individual therapist who specialized in trauma and betrayal. Her name was Dr. Patricia Montgomery, and she was an excellent therapist. She helped me process, understand, and heal slowly, painfully, necessarily. During one session in late April, she asked me a question. It was a simple question, but a profound question, a life-changing question. Vanessa, what do you want from this? From the pain, from the betrayal, from the experience? What do you want to create, to build, to become from the ashes? I'd never considered that before. I'd just been focused on surviving, on not dying, on getting through each day. I'd never thought about building something, creating something, becoming something from the devastation. But her question opened up a possibility. What did I want? What did I really want, deep down, honestly? I thought about it for days, for weeks. Finally, I answered. I want to help women like me. Women who've been betrayed by people they trusted. By counselors, by helpers, by Christians who weaponize faith to destroy. I want to show them how to see the red flags, how to protect themselves, how to survive, and how to thrive after betrayal. That's what I want. Dr. Montgomery smiled. Then do it. Get the training, get certified, build a practice, help women. That's your purpose, your calling, your resurrection from this. Do it. So I did. In May 2019, I enrolled in a certification program for marriage and family therapy with Christian counseling and a specialization in betrayal recovery, affair survival, and trust rebuilding. It was a 1-year program, intensive, comprehensive, and rigorous. I did it while working full-time at the bank, while raising 2 daughters as a single mom, and while healing from my divorce. I did it all simultaneously. It was exhausting, yes. It was overwhelming, yes. But it was worth it. Absolutely worth it. Because purpose drove me. Calling motivated me. The future pulled me forward. Always forward. In May 2020, I graduated. I was certified and licensed as a professional counselor specializing in betrayal recovery for women, by women, with a Christian approach. But it wasn't naive, it wasn't enabling, it wasn't toxic. It was a healthy approach, a boundaried approach, a truth-telling approach, a protection-focused approach. It was everything I wished Simone had been, but wasn't. It was everything women needed, deserved, and would receive from me. In June 2020, I launched my practice called Resurrection Counseling. It was for women rising from betrayal, from affairs, from destruction, rising into truth, into strength, into victory. That was my mission, my vision, my promise to every client. I started part-time in the evenings and on weekends while keeping my banking job for financial security. It was a smart strategy, a safe strategy, a necessary strategy. My first month in June 2020, I had 3 clients. They were all referrals from Dr. Montgomery. All 3 were betrayed wives, all devastated, all hopeless. I worked with them using everything I'd learned from my own experience, from my training, from God, from everything. All 3 of them transformed in 3 months. By September, all 3 had left their marriages, started over, found themselves, found peace, and found purpose. All 3 were thriving. They told their friends, gave referrals, and left testimonials and reviews. Word spread. In July 2020, I had 8 clients. In August, 15 clients. In September, 25 clients. All word of mouth, all referrals, all women who needed what I offered: truth, strategy, and a path from devastation to destination. I gave them the roadmap I'd walked myself. It worked every single time without fail. In January 2021, I quit banking and went full-time with counseling. It was a scary decision, a risky decision, a faith decision. But my practice was growing, revenue was steady, clients were coming, and banking was the past while counseling was the future. I made the leap. I went all in. It was the best decision I ever made. In February 2021, I raised my rates from $150 to $250 per session. Premium pricing for premium service and premium results. Clients paid gladly because the transformation was worth it. Freedom was priceless. A new life was everything. From March 2021 through December 2021, my practice exploded. 25 clients became 40, then 60, then 80 by December. 2 years after my divorce, 2 years after the ring, 2 years after Easter, I had 80 active clients. All women, all betrayed, all rising, all transforming, all thriving. Revenue hit 6 figures in my first year full-time, $200,000 from counseling alone. It was more than my banking salary, much more. Plus, I had freedom, plus purpose, plus impact, plus fulfillment, plus everything I'd never had before. In January 2022, I hired my first employee, an administrative assistant named Rachel. She was young, organized, and brilliant. She handled scheduling, billing, and marketing, everything administrative, while I focused on clients, on counseling, on transforming lives. It was a game changer. With Rachel, I could handle more clients, more growth, more everything. In March 2022, I expanded my services. Not just individual counseling, but also group coaching, workshops, intensives, and retreats. Everything women needed: support, community, tools, resources. I offered it all. Revenue doubled again to $400,000. Year 3 was on a 7-figure pace, and it was within sight. But I didn't stop there. I noticed something. Many of my clients had the same story, the same pattern. They'd trusted the wrong person. They'd paid for help and got betrayal instead. Counselors, pastors, friends, church leaders, people using faith, access, and trust to destroy. It was an epidemic. A hidden epidemic of church betrayal by trusted leaders, helpers, and guides who were wolves in sheep's clothing, destroyers in saviors' disguises, just like Simone. So I created something new, something needed, something powerful. In March 2023, I launched a comprehensive program called Protect Your Marriage: Red Flags of Trusted Betrayers. It was an 8-week course for women in churches, in counseling, in ministries. It taught them how to see red flags, how to protect themselves, how to recognize wolves before devastation happened. It was about prevention, not just recovery. It was revolutionary in the Christian counseling space. I priced the program at $2,800 per couple or $1,500 for an individual woman. It was comprehensive and included 8 weekly group sessions, private coaching, a workbook, resources, tools, and community access. Everything needed to protect marriage, family, everything. I launched it in March 2023 and sold 30 couples in the first month. That was $84,000 from one program. It was mind-blowing. From April 2023 through December 2023, the program exploded. Word spread. Churches invited me to speak, to teach, to train their leaders about hidden betrayals, about wolves in ministries, about protection and not just recovery. I traveled nationally, speaking at conferences, churches, and workshops. My platform grew, my reputation solidified, and revenue skyrocketed to $420,000 in year 4. Everything exceeded expectations. But more than the money, more than the success, it was the impact. It was lives changed. It was marriages protected. It was families saved. It was women empowered. It was truth told. It was wolves exposed. It was God glorified through everything. That was victory. That was purpose. That was resurrection. Real resurrection after Easter, after rehearsal, after the ring, after everything. Today, in March 2025, 6 years after Easter rehearsal, 6 years after the ring, 6 years after Simone, 6 years after Julian, 6 years after everything, I'm a different woman with a different life and different everything. I counsel 75 couples annually at $5,600 per couple. Revenue is $420,000 yearly. I own a house, a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs in a good neighborhood. I paid cash from my business, from my success, from everything I built. I drive a Lexus SUV, luxury, practical, beautiful, paid cash again. I vacation in Turks and Caicos twice yearly with my daughters, with peace, with joy, with everything. Kennedy is now 18, a senior in high school. She's been accepted to Howard University for pre-law. She's following my path, but better, stronger, wiser. She's proud of me, inspired by me, learning from me that betrayal doesn't define you, that devastation doesn't destroy you, that women can rise, can rebuild, can thrive after everything. Harper is now 15, a sophomore in high school. She's a talented singer, ironically just like the woman at Easter rehearsal. But she's different. She has a pure heart, a genuine spirit, real faith. She's nothing like Simone. She's everything like hope, like the future, like the promise of better days always coming. I'm dating a wonderful man, Dr. Marcus Chen, a pediatric surgeon. He's divorced with 2 kids who are older and in college. He's kind, present, emotionally available, honest, and transparent. He's everything Julian wasn't. He's everything I deserve. We're taking it slow. There's no rush, no pressure. We're just enjoying the connection and the possibility of something real someday. Maybe. Or not. Either way, I'm complete. I'm whole. I'm happy with or without a partner. I'm enough. Julian and I co-parent successfully, cordially, and respectfully. He sees the girls regularly, every other weekend, Wednesday dinners, holidays alternating. He's a good father to them, and that's all that matters. His life, his choices, his consequences are not my concern anymore. Julian and Simone did not stay together. The affair ended 6 months after the exposure in October 2019. Apparently, the reality of a relationship without secrecy, without the thrill, without the forbidden element, wasn't appealing, wasn't sustainable, wasn't enough. They broke up. Julian is alone now, still single. He lost everything for nothing, for an affair that lasted 20 months plus 6 more months after I found out. 26 months total. He lost his wife, his family, his home, his stability, everything, for 26 months of deception. Was it worth it? He says no. He regrets everything. He would give anything to undo it, to go back, to choose differently. But he can't. He can't undo it. He can't go back. He can only move forward with the consequences, with the loss, with everything destroyed by his own choices. Simone lost her counseling license. I reported her to the state licensing board in May 2019 after the divorce was filed. I filed a formal complaint for unethical conduct, dual relationships, and exploitation of clients. The board investigated for 6 months and found her guilty. They revoked her license permanently in November 2019. She can never practice counseling ever again in this state. She lost her career, lost her reputation, lost everything. For Julian. For an affair. For 26 months. Was it worth it? I doubt it sincerely. The last I heard in late 2024, Simone was working in retail as a sales associate at a department store. She's making minimum wage, living in a small apartment alone, single with no relationships, isolated from church, from community, from everyone. Those are the consequences of her choices, of her betrayals, of everything. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't wish her harm. But I don't feel sympathy either. She made her choices, and now she's living with the consequences. That's justice. That's fairness. That's reality for everyone, including her. My ring, my original wedding ring, I never saw it again. I don't know if Simone kept it, sold it, or destroyed it. I don't care. I don't want it back. That ring represented a covenant that was broken, a marriage that was destroyed, a life that was ended. I don't want it. I don't need it. I have better now. I have freedom. I have peace. I have purpose. I have prosperity. I have everything that ring represented but couldn't deliver. Because rings don't make marriages. People do. And Julian didn't. Simone didn't. But I did. I made a new life, a new marriage to myself, to my purpose, to my God. That's covenant. That's commitment. That's forever. That's something nothing can break, no one can destroy, and no ring is needed to prove. You know, I think about that night sometimes. Easter rehearsal, March 21st, 2019. The night everything fell apart. The night I saw my wedding ring on another woman's finger. The night I discovered 20 months of betrayal. The night my marriage died. The night that felt like the end of everything. But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The beginning of truth, the beginning of freedom, the beginning of purpose, the beginning of everything I have now, everything I've built, everything I am. God doesn't waste our pain. That's what I've learned. He doesn't cause it. People do, through their choices, their betrayals, their sins. But He doesn't waste it. He redeems it, transforms it, uses it for His glory and our good. My pain, the betrayal, the humiliation, the devastation of that Easter rehearsal, it became the foundation for a ministry that's helped hundreds of women, that's protected hundreds of marriages, that's exposed hundreds of wolves disguised as helpers. Simone wore my ring, but she couldn't steal my resurrection. She took my husband, my counseling fees, my trust. But she couldn't take my strength, my purpose, my future, my God. Those were mine, always mine. And in the end, I won. Not because I'm better or stronger or smarter, but because I chose to rise. I chose to rebuild. I chose to transform devastation into destination. That choice, that daily, difficult, determined choice, that made all the difference. If you're watching this and you're in the middle of your own Easter rehearsal moment, if you've just discovered betrayal, if you're drowning in devastation, if you think your life is over, hear me. It's not over. It's beginning. Your resurrection is coming. Maybe not today, maybe not this month, but it's coming if you choose it, if you fight for it, if you refuse to stay broken. God will meet you. He will heal you. He will use you. He will resurrect you. I promise. I'm proof. 6 years from a wedding ring at Easter rehearsal to a $500,000 business and complete peace. That's God. That's resurrection. That's available to you too. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever discovered betrayal in a sacred space? Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted to help you? How did you survive? How did you rebuild? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's build a community of women who refuse to stay broken, who choose resurrection over revenge, who transform their pain into purpose. And listen, if this story gave you hope, If it showed you that your worst moment can become your greatest ministry, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more stories of women who rose from the ashes, and share this video with a woman who needs to know that her resurrection is coming. Comment below with one word that describes where you are right now. Devastated? Healing? Rising? Victorious? Let me know. Let's walk this journey together. Because we're not just surviving betrayal, we're building empires from it. Let's go.